you're good.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm the lead developer of Endcycle. We're live, right? I'm doing this right.
Yep.
Cool. So I'll be showing off some of the new features in Endcycle that we've been working on the past few months since the Kickstarter. Yeah, we've all been putting a lot of work into it, so I hope you guys will like it. So, first of all, we're inside Finn's house. This is just to showcase the new redesigns that we did. The house may not be anything new, but when you go out of the house, you can actually see that Everett has changed quite a bit since the old demo. The houses are completely redone, and yeah, it's awesome. That's not the only thing that we changed. We also implemented a thing called character greetings, where if you run around the world and you see someone who knows you or who has something to say, there will be a little pop-up about their head greeting you. So, for example, if we now would talk to him, he would tell us something like any other RPG. Yeah, but it's amazing. It adds a lot of depth. Yeah, so that's two of the new things that we've been working on in the background. Another thing that we completely changed is the starting menu. There isn't anymore a real menu where you choose from things like saving or changing your inventory. Instead, we made a cool new system where if you press X, just three little options pop up on the side between which you can switch. And there's gear, which contains status, noise icon, and items. There's data, which contains game stuff like saving, exiting, and options. Then there's world stuff like the world map, as well as a utility tab. For the people that played the demo, in the demo you could convert your experience gained from Bell either into leveling up or getting money from it, so you could decide by your own what you wanted to do. Now we changed that so that because before you had to always go into a voxel clinic in order to exchange this Bell experience, but we changed that. So now you can convert your experience at any time. Actually, your data is the correct term. So you can turn your data either into levels or money at any given moment, so you don't need to extra walk into the voxel clinics. Yeah, then let's jump into the VOC menu, shall we? Gear and items. So the VOC menu has been completely redone. So we've looked at the people that played the old demo. It seemed pretty unhandy, so we changed the way that one navigates it. One still has the Bell inventory to the right and your VOC inventory to the left. VOCs are attacks, for anyone that doesn't know. So since you guys are all network fans, VOCs are our variations of Bell chips. Yes. Then here are the ones that you're taking with yourself into Bell, and on the left are the ones in your inventory. They all have a new pop-up on the bottom left because they're new. Wow. If you want to edit your inventory, you now no longer have to select from a list of options. Instead, when you select a VOC, 4 options pop up, and depending on which direction you press, you will select that option. So cancel just cancels the operation, so it's like pressing B. If you open up the menu and you want to move the VOC around the inventory, you can move it around to any way you want. Then there's the set button, which basically just adds the VOC into your inventory. So you can like customize your inventory way easier now, because it's quicker and more easily accessible. Yeah, then a thing that we... this doesn't have a description, ignore that. A thing that we also added are so-called mods. Now with mods one can change, or rather one can add an additional effect to any attack. So if you would have a cannon, we can press the mod button, and now we can change, or rather add an effect to the cannon. So just for showcasing purposes, I only have 2 mods in my inventory, actually 20, but 2 different types. So we have the defense up modification and the poison modification. The poison modification still doesn't have an image, but we'll be fixing that like very soon. Until the build, that is. The demo. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. We're releasing a demo of the game on the 1st of July, which will also feature online multiplayer. So if you like what you're seeing here, then stay tuned for online multiplayer on the 1st of July. Wait, give me a second, you're very silent. Can you repeat that?
There's already a demo out, right? This is an update to the demo?
Yes, correct. And we'll be launching the new demo with our Kickstarter, not Kickstarter, I'm sorry. We'll be launching it along our Patreon, on which you'll be able to support us, and in exchange you'll grant exclusive in-game bonuses. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add a modification to the VOC. Here is a defense up modification. Basically what this does is it adds a defense up and a strength down ailment to the attack. So if we select this, we're gonna modify it. And now we have a modified VOC, which is a normal cannon, but it also increases the defense and lowers the strength of the entities that it hits. Yeah, so for demonstration purposes, let's go ahead and mod 2 more attacks. Let's add the spreader into our inventory by just adding it like here. And then you can press the mod button also from within your Bell inventory, and you can add the poison effect just by clicking on poison and adding it. Now again, the reason why there are no images for the poison modification is due to a bug that I'm still fixing, but don't worry about that. And let's add a final one to blocker, where we want to increase our defense when we use the blocker attack, but also at a cost of lower strength. Also, thanks for the compliments to the menu. We've really tried to put user friendliness more into, how do you call that, into the limelight? Yeah. Okay, so now we have a cannon that increases our defense, and that increases the enemy's defense and lowers their strength. A spreader, which acts like it does in Bell Network, that poisons the enemy but also heals it. So since poison takes away more HP than the heal will restore, it basically gives you a lot of opportunities, because you can either decide, do you want to have a short-sighted effect where you increase the HP of the affected person, or do you want to lower their HP over time, but have them be a bit healed. Yeah, it's like a side grade basically. And the blocker will increase our defense, but at the same time reduce our strength. So, okay, I've been talking a lot now. Let's actually see some action and jump into it. There's a noise just outside of town, which I'll fight, just to showcase the attacks that we've just created. Can everyone still see the screen? Guys?
I think so. Nothing's changed on the team side.
Okay. Again, the new demo will be available on the 1st of July, so before that the old demo is still the same as it was back in February. Good. Then this is just a placeholder greed. Also, as you can see, all of the enemies have now been animated, so like everyone, it has a flinch animation, it has different kinds of animations, which you can't see right now, but they'll be in the demo. So, let's try, for example, just attacking it with the cannon. And one can see it now has a lower strength, but increased defense. So the next attacks will damage it less. Yeah. Then if we use Spreader, his HP is now going down because he's poisoned, but at the same time he got healed by 5% of his max HP. So, yeah. Then, the last attack that we modified is Blocker. If we use Blocker, we'll reduce our strength but gain defense. So the same effect that the enemy has, but applied onto ourselves, which makes it different because now we aren't as strong, but in return we can take more damage. And there are tons of different modifications that you'll be able to find and collect, so how you fight is entirely up to you. And if you want, let's say, a heal that poisons you, that's your choice, you can do that. If you want a cannon that reduces the enemy's speed, you can do that, but don't forget that every modification also has a trade-off, so there is no just pure buffing modification. It always has a drawback to it, to make it more balanced, of course. So let's finish off this greed real quick. Okay, here we can see that we are getting the data from the noise we just fought. We got 525 data, and we can convert that into money or into experience points now. So, now since we just discovered this noise, it wasn't a noise that we fought before, it got entered into our noisicon, which is basically the noise lexicon. You can look at the different types of noises in this menu. We've also been remaking some of the graphics for it, so it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, and we also added a really awesome new feature where if you go out of the noisicon's detail view, like we have it right now, you will actually see an overview of all of the different noises that we got. So, but of course only if you've battled them before. And for example, I already entered that we battled Neo beforehand, so the Neo noise can be seen on here. But since we didn't battle him often enough, we don't know his details. Whereas with Greed, with the Sofa So Good, we actually have all of the details to this noise. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions up until now? Are there still pure buff and debuff based Vox? Yes, there are there are still Vox like strength up, defense down, and all that. And these can also be modified to add an additional effect to the people it affects. So let's go out of this menu. One of the mods that I also want to mention, because you guys will probably love it, is that there will be a mod, which basically lets you attack as if you'd be using the lock-on from Star Force. And basically, whenever you use that specified attack with the mod, it will teleport you in front of the enemy. That is the most optimum target for that attack. Yeah. Oh, good to hear that the couches are. Oh, Jesus. Good to know that the couches are scarring you for life, Tara. Okay, so. Yeah, Cloud Monkey, exactly. Like Sword. So, there is just one more thing that I have to show you guys. And it's the new leveling system of the game. Here we have the utility. We want to level up. So we just go into utility, we convert some data into levels. So we just level up.
So you can do this anywhere now?
You can do this anywhere. It doesn't have to be in a clinic. You can just open up the menu and convert.
That's really nice, actually.
We kind of thought that it's kind of annoying that you constantly have to walk back to the clinic. An opposite mod to the heal but poison that hurts but regens. That actually sounds really cool, and we'll be making that. Yeah, well, I'll think of how to implement that. Sounds cool. Okay, so now that we level up, let's go to the gear menu, and here let's look at the new way of upgrading your stats. So here is the Guy's Grid system, as it's called. Up until now we're level 3, because we leveled up twice from the XP that we gained beforehand. And that means that we can unlock 2 of these nodes. This is our base node. This is where everyone starts from. And depending on what you want to skill, you go into a different direction. You have 4 stats. You have strength, defense, resistance, and speed. If you want to upgrade attack or strength and increase the power of your attacks, you just have to upgrade strength nodes, which add a small strength bonus. If you want to upgrade your defense and take less damage from attacks, upgrade defense. If you don't want to be crushed as fast, you have to upgrade resistance, and all the other way around. Yeah, if you want to upgrade your speed, so how fast you can attack, then you can also upgrade your speed. Now, these are still a bit of a placeholder until the actual demo comes out, but as you basically upgrade your stats, you will then at one point come across a VOC node. And VOC nodes basically, upon unlocking them, give you 5 of the attack that you just unlocked. So that's our way of granting you attacks in that kind of role in which you are in. So if you're a very strength-based person, you'll be gaining a lot of strength attacks as you play the game. The demo will have a very shrunk-down version of the node system, so don't expect it to be full-blown in the actual game. Because with a problem that we had with the old build was that the leveling system was already completely filled out, so you could max your level in the demo, which we don't want people to be able to do, because we want them to only have a preview of what we're showing off. We want you guys to basically just get a taste of how the final thing is going to be like. So there are a few questions. What will happen to old saves working with the old ACE and stats system? The stats will be reset, but we're not sure yet if the VOCs will be lost or not, because we're planning on reworking a lot of the VOCs, so the attacks might not be the same as they were in the demo anymore, meaning you might lose your attacks, but you will definitely keep your level as you had it in the demo, and will be able to skill your nodes with the level that you had back in the old demo. Yes, so if you want to unlock a strength node, for example, you just select it, unlock node, it will show you how your stats will change, and there's nothing spectacular yet, but we unlocked strength, and now our strength is 1026. So with every unlock, your stats go up. Also, you'll notice that some nodes grant extra HP. Those also are called differently, or nodes can also grant two different kinds of stats. So here, for example, we have a charger node, which adds HP and strength, and below that is the blitz node, which connects the strength tree with the speed tree, and blitz being a quick attack improves strength and speed. Yeah, so tree seems fairly linear. Will there be more branching and looping? Maybe. We're not sure on the design of the final pattern yet we definitely want to have it be a little bit interconnected, so that if you just train your strength all the time, that you don't have to, that the speed stats, for example, are not completely isolated from the strength stats. Are you planning on any form changes or character augments in the same vein as Styles or Cross and Bell Network? We're not sure, but for Act 1 of, Act 1, for this version, until we release the game, I don't think we will have that. Maybe in the online multiplayer as time passes, but not in the near future. So if we'll be implementing something like that, it will take a few months' time before we're actually finished with the system that we're happy with. And yes, so let's unlock one more node, and let's say speed. Now one won't notice a big difference during Bell, because the stat changes were very minimal just now. We just added 2% to our strength and 2% to our speed, speaking statistically. So yes, we won't notice a big change, but 2% is still an increase, and as you level up, you'll be able to still feel an improvement, because at the end you'll be much stronger than you were at the beginning. Okay, I talked a lot. I hope you guys I hope you guys like what you've seen from the game now. If you have any questions, I'm free to answer. I'll try to answer them as good as I can. But otherwise, I'm done with presenting all the new features of the game. Yeah. Yes. The new stats now start from 1000 than from the 100 before, because if a stat is like in the 1000 range, there is more room to modify it without like having. Yeah, there's just more room to modify it. If you, for example, would increase your strength by 2, it just doesn't have as much with the old system. If you would increase your strength from 100 to 102, it just doesn't have as much an impact, like mentally, as if you would increase it by 20, like from 1000 to 1020. Yeah, so let's look at some questions. Thank you guys that you're excited to play this. I can't wait to battle all of you in the online multiplayer, which will be coming. And whoever beats me gets, I don't know, let's say a digital hug. Will there be any external equipment like armor that influences stats when used rather than when used in Bell? External equipment like armor, do you mean outside of the Bell? Because for inside of the Bell, there are of course, as you know, attacks that change your stats while you play. While you Bell. But already altering your stats outside of the Bell will probably be only interchangeable through, yeah, the stats that inside the Bell, the stats when you start a Bell will probably be the same stats that you made outside of it, like with the leveling system. We don't want different armors because we kind of want to achieve a feeling where everyone can get just equally as strong as one another just by leveling. So any further equipment from outside would make the whole thing very confusing. Yeah. That's pretty much it. There, for online multiplayer, I don't want to promise anything, but we are thinking about implementing something similar to armor, where you can define a certain type of fighting style. So if you're more of an attacker, you might get an attack bonus for a slight defense loss. Something along those lines. Oh, is there anything we can help with for the game? If you guys are very good at pixel sprites, or know anyone that is really good with making sprites, we definitely need a Bell artist and an overworld artist for the sprites, because yeah, so that we can finish the game faster. Okay. Yeah. Then I'm pretty much done. I hope I'm not too early.
Monk is still setting up for a Battleship Challenge, so if there's anything else you would like to show, feel free. If you're completely done, we will put on some music.
I have an idea of...
There are probably still a lot of viewers who aren't familiar with the old demo view, so if you have some battles set up or anything you wanted to run through,
sure,
let's show off a couple of the bots.
Let's jump into a battle, but I'll jump into the battle with my current Vox, so I won't be changing that up too much, because also ignore the debugging view that I just entered, because I need to start the battle now. But otherwise, I won't be showing off many different Vox, because I want to keep that a bit of a surprise of what kinds of Vox will be available to you guys later on, because we're working on many different, many new ones, so I hope you guys will like those. Customizable clothes. For now, we're gonna try to finish the game before we have any kind of cosmetic changes. But cosmetic clothes would be awesome if we'd have enough time and artist power to implement that, because it takes a lot of time. Respec, because we have this leveling system where everyone can get equally strong, we don't want to have a respec available, so that, like, if you want to level a different thing, then you just start leveling that as you progress instead. And there isn't a really big leveling curve, so when you level, you'll get new levels as you battle, like, pretty much equally. At the end, of course, levels will take longer to reach, but they're not going to be impossible to farm at one point. They have a very low curve. Yeah. So let's jump into a battle. Okay. So... Oh, geez. I see that Greed's not moving, but that's a bug. As you can see, the couch, for example, has completely new animations. We also have new cannon animations, but unfortunately we couldn't implement them yet. They'll be available in the demo, of course. Then let's spell. For example, I want to poison all of those guys first, so that they all are losing a bit of HP as we battle. Okay. I just blocked all attacks and increased my defense, so that... Yeah, cool. So that I would not be able... so that I wouldn't die as easily. Although it doesn't look very nice for me. Also, we changed heal to be level 2, because before it used to be level 1. and that was very easily spammable. Now it's level 2, so but it also adds more HP, so it's more easy to handle. Not easy to handle, but it's more vital to save up for to actually get a chance to increase your health. Okay. Okay, and we're basically won because the greed's not moving. The game is called End Cycle, and you should totally go look at it. Yes. We have a Tumblr, we have Twitter, we also have Discord, and we also have Reddit, if anyone wants to follow us. Okay.
So there's no counter hitting in this game, but you have something else called breaking, I think is...
Crushing. So when you hit an enemy often enough without them dodging your attacks, then a bar above their heads will fill up, as you could see before. And yes, when that bar is full, a message will appear where it will say crush, and the enemy won't be able to move for a while, and in that time your attack gauge fills up double as fast, and it fills up completely when you crush someone, meaning that you can basically unleash a barrage of attacks on them while they can only watch in fear as they get bombarded. The heal on the Spreader does not do its own damage because the heal if we want to talk technically, the heals for 5% of the max health, but the poison reduces the... But the poison knocks away 10% of the enemy's health over time, or the hit person's health, meaning that if you now have... Yeah, so meaning you'll be healed for 5%, but in total you'll lose 5% of your health with every time you, like, get attacked by that attack.
Also, I'm not sure you have any of the box equipped right now, but there are a couple different bars that you can switch back and forth between them.
Yep.
There's one for buffing, one for debuffing.
Let's take a look at that.
That's actually very nice. It emphasizes the fact that you can still use your buff spells and stuff.
Yep.
Even with attack spells equipped, so you don't have to have all of your box be offensive.
Exactly.
And you don't have to take up slots that could be offensive for other things, like area grabs, stat buffs, enemy debuffs.
And since you can have a total of 12 attacks, you don't have to actually... the game doesn't allow you to add in more than one different attack. So you can't have... So unlike Battle Network, you can't have like 3 cannons. Unless they're modified cannons. So if you have a cannon that reduces defense, you'll be able to add that alongside a normal cannon. What you can see here right now is that when you will, in the future, when you will mod an attack, its name and name color will change to correspond to the mod that you added. So for example, a Spare with heal and poison would become, for example, let's say Poise Spreader, and would gain a violet name. So that way you can keep apart and know for yourself which kinds of attacks are modified in your inventory.
I know the grid changes a little bit too based on the battle. I've seen it's not always 9x3, correct?
Correct. There are, let's look for...
There are also neutral panels sometimes in the battles.
Yep, neutral panels can be moved on to by everyone. So if we, like, for example, look at the spell, you'll notice that the the battle grid is a different size. And depending on the battle, you have a different grid size, so those aren't... Oh boy, bugs. So yeah.
Oh, this bomb attack is new.
The bomb attack is still buggy because I redid a lot of things coding it, so I still have to fix that. It's going on my to-do list.
Oh, okay. I thought they were gonna blow up or something.
Nah.
I was a little afraid for you.
Yeah. Wait. I think there were a question. There was a question. I didn't look. I didn't read. Yeah. If you're missing spurs, then that would be something you'd want to leave to the end. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. No. I got everything. So regarding to the Bell Network games and math, it's not as mathematical as I maybe set it out to be, because while battling you won't be calculating stuff in your head, except like basic stuff like this poison deals 10% damage. If he gets 10, how much HP does he have left? Can I poison him and kill him with that?
Yeah, I know when I played the demo, you really didn't have a lot of time to think in battle because you don't get a cust gauge like Battle Network. It's much more real time.
Go ahead. Did you want to say anything more?
That was about it. I think it's a nice change. It's new and interesting.
Oh yeah. Thank you. But regarding that, one doesn't have a lot of time to think because it's real time, yes. But the demo was also plays itself a lot faster than the new version of the game will.
That's true. I noticed the cannon guy in particular and the couches seemed a little toned down.
Yeah.
Which is good, especially in the couches case, because those things were nuts.
Yeah. We toned down the speed very much so that it can, because we added new animations for attacking and for all of the different enemy types. And due to that, we had to slow down stuff a little bit because otherwise the animations would A, look messy, and B, the game was already a little bit too fast. So now it's a nice speed where you can still enjoy excitement through it, but at the same time, it's very, it's still very action-paced, but at the same time you can think more while you battle because you have enough time to think. And it doesn't actually like overwhelm you when there are many enemies.
I think also the slower animation speed gives you a lot more room for more complicated encounters later on.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a good thing. And from what I've seen, the encounters can get pretty nuts. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially on one of those big fields. You can load in a lot of viruses there.
Oh yeah, totally. And with we're planning to have many different enemy types too, so yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
Actually, now that I think about it, with the big field sizes, you could do some interesting stuff with bosses too. Have you done a lot of work on that yet?
Bosses will definitely feature a very different field than what you're used to normally, because they will be using different attacks. Maybe they will even be spawning enemies as you battle them. And because of that, the field size will be bigger, because the problem that I encountered while playing Battle Network sometimes was that everything would get very cluttered on the small 3x3 field, actually 6x3 field.
Yeah, for sure.
So by adding more panels vertically and horizontally, you have more chance to have different kinds of strategies that involve a lot of planning regarding the field. Also, but it's killing my OCD because sometimes you'll have fields where you don't have a center panel vertically, so you might have to sell on the second or the third row from 4 rows, and it's killing my OCD. But it's cool.
Diversity is always nice though.
Yeah.
Are there any obstacles in game yet? Like the rocks in Battle Network, for example?
Do you mean like the puzzle elements?
Well, like how you can place down an air cube, rock cube, and stuff like that.
To be honest, I'm like super unsure what you mean right now, because the context is really missing.
So in Battle Network,
yeah.
when you get field spawn, there can sometimes just be a rock on one of the panels.
Oh, those, yeah, oh yeah, of course. Obstacles, yeah, those are planned too. So like neutral objects that are on the field that obstruct things or that change the way you play. Yeah.
And different panel types as well, I assume?
Yes, of course.
I think there were hack panels. Was that the skin?
I'm not...
It might have been something else I played.
I don't think so, because up until now in demos we haven't featured changing panels. But panels are actually already implemented. They might not be released with the first version of the demo, but the demo that we'll be releasing on 1st of July will constantly be updated by us due to it featuring online multiplayer. So we'll be adding stuff like different panel types as time moves on. Yes, the fifth death option, which would spit you out with 1 HP, would be possible if you aren't in a story encounter, because yeah, if you aren't in a story encounter, then actually no, the thing is, the problem with spitting out the player with only 1 HP is that we want some noises to be like locks to access certain areas. So in order to defeat that noise, you would, if you would just be spit out with 1 HP outside of the noises area, then, or no, wait, you know what? That might be a good. That might be cool. That might be cool. We'll consider that, definitely. Yeah. Then, cool. Any other questions or anything, or is the person done preparing now?
I'm not sure. I think they're having some difficulties getting the stream up.
Feel free to continue. Well, again, if you run out of stuff, let's put on some music and start this out.
I'm thinking if I could show off anything cool.
Yeah, and again, if anyone in the chat has a question, feel free to ask, and I'm sure you'll get at least some form of an answer, whatever can be said.
Yeah. Other than that, the fact that you should all go totally follow this game's development, because we need supporters. I don't have a lot to show off, because I prepared for this demo to be specifically what I've shown off. So like I actually made a custom scenario with everything pre-made. So yeah. But again, please go follow us. We need supporters. We would love some new supporters. And then you can also follow the development of this really awesome game. Blatant self-promotion for the win. So, Dark Vox. There will be darkness element Vox, which are very powerful, but they don't work like Dark Vox, because the problem that I at least had with Dark Vox is that they permanently have an effect on you, which is cool, but at the same time, if you ever want to recover from using them, you really can't. They're a permanent effect, and if you just want to stop using them, well, yeah.
So maybe something that's like, you would have Vox that are not as strong as maybe Dark Chips were from Battle Network, but do have a negative impact on you in battle.
Exactly.
Extra damage. I guess there's a bit of that with the mods as well, which is cool.
True. Yes, that's something weird. I think the idea of Dark Vox having a negative impact on you as you use them are basically also part of the modifications. But I'll talk to the team again and see if like we can come up with any cool idea or solution to implement Dark Vox very well.
It's not really something you need anyway. I think the mods pretty much have anything that people would look for in Dark Chips covered, I think.
Yeah. Definitely a thing that I want to mention. With mods, there will also be a basic basic power-up and basic crush power-up VOC, where the crush power-up reduces the damage, but the power-up reduces the crush power. Damage up reduces crush power, yeah. Maybe do some of that to buy time till... There is the Dream Garden. There is the Dream Garden. I could show off a little bit of the Dream Garden for sure. I just have to switch something real quick. I kind of didn't expect that the stream would go on longer than me showing off the new things, and now I have to start up.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a rough start to the marathon. A lot of technical difficulties.
Hey, don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah, TeamBN marathon, they're used to it.
I can show off something that's in prototype. Yeah,
Is
sure.
there going to be any more of the story in the next demo?
The story will change.
More gameplay stuff?
Yeah, there will be actually another boss fight at the end of the story. But it won't change a lot. Only the long sequence where you walk with Finn's girlfriend will be basically shortened down, and there will be a boss fight somewhere in the story. So, but other than that, there won't be a massive story update. This is more of a gameplay update. 5-meter Vox would be a big enough cost to dump the over stuff into and or apply negative effects with their use, which mods do. Yeah. We'll see to that, but 5 Vox that are like level 5, which take up the entire bar, will be tuned down because with the last build we had the problem that there was this attack called Outburst that basically completely annihilated all enemies within like 3 uses of it, so that was a bit broken.
Is that the one that was kind of like a buster rake that went down the rows multiple times? Yeah, precisely. I liked that one.
It is awesome, but it's a bit too strong.
Just a little overpowered.
So we'll be nerfing that, but we won't be making it useless. We'll definitely like keep it up. Level 5 is awesome. Like we want to make level 5 Vox still feel strong, but at the same time we don't want them to be game breaking. So yeah. Okay, I can show up a little preview of this if it works. Don't expect the final thing to be like this. This is a leak. I am leaking this right now, and I shouldn't be doing this, but fuck it. I trust you guys are cool. So with the online multiplayer, you'll have a username, and you'll be able to select from the character you want to control, and then you basically just connect. And there will be a small world where you can walk around. Up to the top left is a chat window. Now, if anyone would be playing with me, which I hope there will be people, this will be how the online multiplayer will look like. You'll actually have a world where you can walk around and interact with people. You'll be able to chat like, hello, and messages appear above your head too, so yeah. So, have you considered a mod or status effect that locks you out of the equipped inventory for a while? You mean that like, You mean that like actually stops you from using any of your attacks? But yeah, so you can walk around. You can also, if there's any people that like that, you can RP in this environment. It's basically your playground to do whatever you want to. Now a lot of things are still very unpolished with the world, and it's empty right now, but I hope you guys will like join me and play it a bit with me, because I want people to play this game with me. And yeah, like that's pretty much how the first online multiplayer will look like. If you want to battle someone, you basically just have to walk up to them and talk to them, like just pressing space or whatever you wish, and then just select propose battle or something like that. I'm not sure how I'll be implementing that. Yeah, but you'll also be able to select like a battle request from a list of people in the menu, so you won't have to walk around this huge world and find people. You'll actually be able to use a menu for that too. Multiplayer, it's planned that multiplayer will have saves saved in like on the server itself, so you won't lose any data, and it will be connected to your account. But at the beginning there might not be a save due to time constraints, but with updates it will definitely be introduced. No, single player progress is strictly separated from the multiplayer. The multiplayer will have a different way of changing your stats, so don't expect the same way of character progression in the multiplayer. Because we don't want to have people with more playtime in the multiplayer to be stronger than someone who's just as experienced but doesn't have enough playtime. So levels in multiplayer will definitely not be a thing. The only thing where you might like say, okay, I want to have in multiplayer you'll only be able to specify which kind of fighting style you want, rather than actually upgrading your character. Because yeah, we don't want beginners to be a shit ton weaker than a super experienced player. We just want them to have the same, like, yeah, people should be treated equally, not and there shouldn't be a big entry barrier, because the problem with many games is that if you have some sort of leveling idea, then you basically just would crush all the beginners, as Cloud Monkey is saying, and that's never fun if super experienced people crush you in a multiplayer game.
Ready to start DCC, so if you want to sign off and drop your link one more time.
Okay, cool. Then let me just leave. Okay, then that was it from my end, and I hope you guys liked the game. I can't wait to release it for you guys.
I'm definitely looking forward to getting the new demo in July. It looks a lot of fun.
Okay, sweet. Well then, bye guys, have fun.
Alright, Cheese, go ahead and transition over to